I feel like I'm beating a dead horse again and again, but it still blows my mind how completely off the face of the earth they've wiped the thing that was so important a couple weeks ago. This channel got banned over. It was only a week, but still, it was because of the thing that was just so important. You had to have a degree to talk about it, or else you're misinforming people. It's gone. It's just gone. Like, you won't find, like, a social space online where people discuss anything, and that's including image boards or anything. Kiwi Farms, Instagram, whatever. You name it. There is no discussion about the thing anymore. This is so wild to me. We've held on to mandates here a lot longer than anywhere else in the U.S. But it's starting to wrap up. You see a lot more people without masks, and you can now go into restaurants without showing a vax pass or proof of testing. You could either get, I think that's how it went. If you want to go into a restaurant, you need to be vaxxed, or if you had a recent PCR test, whatever they're called. But that's gone now. So I'm just, walking by a restaurant earlier, looking at it. It's an outdoor cafe thing. And I'm just seeing all the people sitting there, and I'm like, I could go in the restaurant now and just sit down and eat. So what was the whole thing about? I know what it's about, and if you're watching this, you know what it's about too. But if I'm a regular guy that's just too busy with trying to keep money coming in so I can survive, and my family can survive, I don't have time to look into this stuff, right? I'm just going by what the news is telling me. This is a lot of people too. They wanted me to get this thing so bad. They're the president of the United States come out and admonish us, saying he was running out of patience with those who didn't want to get the thing. They were really adamant that you take this thing. And now not only is that thing gone, but the actual thing itself, the reason for all this, is also now gone. And I'm just looking at all the people in this restaurant, like, how many people got the vaccine? I didn't. All I had to do was wait. I had to wait it out and weather the bullshit. All the tactics, the social shame, people in your community and family and neighbors and friends pressuring you to do this thing, to do the right thing. People losing their jobs, losing their businesses, losing their lives, losing loved ones' lives. All the suicide that has occurred from this. And it's all over. It's all forgotten. Everything's back to normal. I was under the impression that we would have these changes with this stuff was the beginning of the descent into Orwell world. There was no way they were going to get this stuff up, right? I mean, there was no way. In what timeline does that make sense? And here we are. I'm looking at all these people, and I'm just like, you didn't have to get it. You didn't have to get it. You could have just, did like I did. Just kind of tried to avoid it. Just didn't watch TV. Didn't check my peer group for numbers. I moved to Hawaii 8 years ago from the mainland, where I met my wife, who subsequently, previously, I think that's wrong, grew up here. She's from here, from this exact neighborhood, and actually lived in this exact apartment we're in right now for a period of time. That's a lot of personal information. Just to say, what the fuck did I go into that early? Just to say, 8 years ago, I left my hometown, where I lived most of the time. I moved around a little bit in my lifetime, but I always end up back in the same area. Because that's where you have family, you have friends, you have like your life. Those kind of things happen, unless something significant brings you somewhere else. And lucky enough, something significant did bring me here. So in the 8 years, I had time to kind of let go of people, like people that were close to me in my life. Because when I first moved here, I didn't know how long I'd be here. I thought it was only for a short period of time, or a period of time. I didn't think I was staying, but it wasn't long before I said, "Oh yeah, I have to stay here." I realized this is where I'm supposed to be, and things have changed for me so significantly here. I get scared when I think about who I used to be, before I moved here. But I had time to say goodbye to these people. There are some people that I know, that I've heard stories from, that I've read things from, who lost everyone around them. Everyone turned their back on them, or they were shunned, or they were exiled, or they were kicked out of the fucking club, or the group, or their friend circle, or their family in some cases. And that's only if you have a really shitty family who are a bunch of judgmental, egotistical fucking assholes. Yeah, people get fucked for this thing. Like, people really get fucked bad over this. Bad. And then the people that went along with the thing were looking at me like I should, not looking at me like I should. They actually put people in camps in Australia, and they were advocating for that here. Not just the politicians, but your neighbors and your friends and the people in your community. They wanted us to be brought out into the light, as I've seen a few times, an expression that is used, so we know who they are. Like, they're advocating for like a gold star, okay, for us people who didn't want to be part of the thing. So, how am I supposed to go to like a restaurant and sit down across from a guy who, 6 months ago was advocating for me to go into a camp or to be singled out, or in the case of celebrities, we're talking about hospitalizing people and hoping that, they're not killed, and all this other bizarre stuff. Like, they were full fucking on pedal to the metal, get this shit in people's arms if it's the last thing you do. And the more they stressed how important it was and how you're gonna take this, right? I would think those with a rational mind would be like, what the fuck? These guys, why are they creeping me out with this? What's in that? Why do I have to do? What the fuck is going on? And I think a lot of people did. But even though this whole plan comes from people that I will never see, never meet, and don't know, the ones that enforced it, and the ones that enforced it on you and me and everyone else, are the people closest to you. Whether it's your neighbors, like I said, your family members, friends. The tyranny isn't enforced by the actual tyrannical originators. It's enforced by people in your community. It's top down. I've been, I've talked about this a lot over the past year. And that's that's a big problem because, like I said, like I got to sit across from a guy in a restaurant who, like 6 months ago, wanted me in a camp, or maybe in a hospital, or to at least be registered. But they really wanted a camp, like Australia had, like a detention center for public safety. Like, because if you're not going to do the right thing, we have to take you out of society. And that's kind of what they did with people anyway. You lost the ability to do pretty much anything in public life. And this was, of course, on a spectrum. It wasn't that severe in some places. In some places, it wasn't even recognized at all. Like, if you lived in Florida, you just sailed through this thing. Pretty much. I mean, no one sailed through it, but... So, yeah, and how's that gonna work out? Hey man, sorry about wanting to call the Gestapo on you 6 months ago. At the time I thought maybe some government stooge is dragging you out of the house while hitting you with a stick about the head and neck repeatedly. I thought that was gonna be good for public safety. No hard feelings. I mean, it's whatever. But it did kind of make me feel differently about people. Also in the past year, I've been doing a lot of stuff on trying to figure out exactly who is real and who is what I was calling an asset, meaning they're just like a lamppost or a tree. And I was attempting to tie that, not from my own idea, but other greater minds, was to tie the imagination to divinity, because I think it is absolutely related and connected, absolutely. And I could go down a whole list of reasons why, but a lot of the year was focused on that, trying to suss that out. Like, how much divinity does people have? Is there a scale? Does it mean when you have it, or does someone have less of it? And then the whole thing about the veil, because I get frustrated, people couldn't see stuff. And I have to remind myself, well, there's the veil. It's still up for some people. But I was finding it hard sometimes to sympathize just because they didn't understand what was happening, even though to me it was all so plain. But now we've gone a step beyond that. To not only did they not see it happening, they were actually in the enemy camp with me in the rifle sights, or you, or whoever was. This is where they went. They went Gestapo on you. They went brown shirt on you. Most of them. So how are you supposed to feel about these people now? I mean, am I supposed to be more sympathetic, knowing that they're a danger to me? Because they are. They've proven that, obviously. They're a danger to anyone who doesn't follow the plan. And a lot of them are delusionally following poopy pants. So there's definitely some black magic at work here. I mean, for sure, there always is since the beginning. That's a staple of the glue that holds the world together here. But this particular situation is a spell. Imagine being able to turn the people closest to a person against them to fight for them against you. That is something I could never have imagined. Actually, I couldn't have imagined any of this. This would be like, even one aspect of this, you couldn't sell that script to sci-fi to do a movie there, because it would be too wild. They'd be like, just pick one dystopian concept and go with that, focus on that. You're diluting the story here without never imagining that it could all come at once overnight. Yeah. As incompetent as they are, some of the stuff is just there's a supernatural element to it. I mean, that's all there is to it. So now it's over. Okay, life has returned almost to normal in many places. It will eventually be that way here. But here I just walk through the mall, I see people with no masks on, I see less masks, I'm able to go into places I could go into before. And everything's back to normal. You see the deaths attributed to the thing, but how many people do you personally know that you can verify were a victim of this? And I don't mean went in the hospital and died there. It doesn't mean shit. If you're going into hospital, they're going to die. That like a brother or a sister or a significant other that got it, you watched them go through it, you were with them for the tests, you went through the whole process, and hopefully they came out okay. But how many people do you know like that even had it? And out of those people, how many do you know that actually passed away from it? And if even one person were out of the 3 that see this, I'm sorry. Oh man, it's true though. What I'm saying is, you're not gonna fucking find a person in your own personal life. I mean, you might. I don't know. I'm not saying you can't. There's probably not a way to, because it's, who knows? There's a possibility, I guess. But even in that instance, it wasn't the thing they died from. And if I were to get a little bit more information about it, honest information, I could probably tell you what happened. I could solve. I'm not saying I'm not giving legal advice, but I would be, if all things were suddenly back to the way they were before like 2016, I would be the top private investigator in the North American, on the North American continent. For sure. Like any of us would, I guess. It's just, but to be able to see something and know the end of it and understand the implications of it, to just look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's this. And someone else can't see that, not even to that degree, but at all. That doesn't seem possible, man. It's so fucking bizarre. There's so many bizarre aspects of this that I could probably do 5 videos a day just like this, just as coherent and just as sharp, and also with a bit of humor and very on point. I don't know where to end that. I started that and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wrap this up in a funny way, and I couldn't think of how to end that. Yeah. Not the first time I've been in that situation. So, like, what the fuck? It's over. It's over. And now things are back. Yeah, just, hey, how you doing? Like, back to the way they were. You didn't have to take it. Okay? Check this out. All right? I live in a neighborhood that has 10 million visitors a year from all over the world. All over the world. Because, of course, tourism never stopped outside of the 2-week lockdown in the beginning. No, the planes kept coming in and out from countries all over the world, right? Never stopped, right? Okay. So, and this is something that's floating in the air, right? Okay. I never had a test. I obviously didn't take the shit. I would only wear a mask when I went into a store, or I had to. And I'm always outside. It's Hawaii. And when I say I'm always outside, at least more than half the day. More than half the day outside. Because I come in around noon time. It gets a little bit hot for me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there nor anywhere. Yeah, it's like, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. But I could do one of these every day, 5 times a day, and still not be able to cover every aspect of this insanity. But that's how things move now. Things move so fast you don't have time to reflect on anything. They keep you moving. But yeah, it's just, I'm just kind of blown away by this. Walk around my neighborhood and just being like, seeing how, getting the feel from over, 2 years ago. And it's like nothing happened, you know. You didn't have to take it. You didn't have to ruin all those people's lives. I dodged it pretty good because I've set my life up in a way so that I'm pretty malleable when it comes to keeping out of the eye of Sauron. But, you know, it took a long time to get that kind of shit sorted out. But I'm not invincible from that. They could get you anytime, any day, for any reason, if they really wanted to. So I have no, but I'm not doing anything. So it's like, well, actually, I mean, by today's standards, you know, if you hurt someone's feelings online, you committed a crime. But as much as I began to understand the much larger, it's not even size, you can't really quantify size here. The unseen world has become the most important thing because it just is, of course. I mean, the only time this takes precedence over the unseen world is if you're about to drive into a brick wall. Beyond that, you really got to keep your eye on the unseen world, and that is a place between eyesight and thought. And as I say about a lot of other things, making constructs, anything involving the spiritual realm, when you see things and you see energy, or you see people, or I've seen all kinds of things, you're not seeing it with your eyes, or, well, I was going to say obviously, but you're not really looking at it with your eyeballs. And you're not imagining it in your head. It's not a thought. So it exists somewhere between the two of those. But being able to learn more about that world at exponential rate, it seems like, not through any machinations of my own, this just started happening. A lot of people's experience is very similar to mine. They just started having these weird things happen. Everybody else did, yada yada, here we are. So with me, I don't know. I have to think about that one. I'll think about that one. All right, I'm gonna get going. I feel like I'm just babbling, spinning wheels. I had a point there, but I really want to consider it some more for my 3 viewers. It's funny. But yeah, you don't want to throw shit out there that's not, you know, I say a lot of dumb shit here, for sure. But I'm not lying. I'm not a liar, that's one thing. Because I understand the spiritual damage it does to you. So I could be wrong sometimes. It's like the Owen Benjamin thing. I could be wrong, but I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you. You know. Yeah. All right. You're gonna have to hang up first, because I don't know what the fuck to do right now. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.